Okay, so today we are going to start Unit 1 with Section 2.1. So we're talking about relations and functions. So a relation is any set of ordered pair. So you can write these a few different ways. You can write them as a list, a table / chart, mapping diagram, a discrete graph, a non-discrete graph, and I'll tell you what that is in a second, or an equation. So domain is the set of all possible inputs x, and the opposite of domain would be range. Okay, and the range is the set of all possible outputs y. So if a graph is discrete, you give your answers in as a list, and so a discrete graph will be a bunch of dots. And then a non-discrete, or another word for that is continuous, answer in interval notation. We've talked about that. That's like something like negative infinity to infinity. That's one way you can write it. Oh, excuse me, those should be parentheses. Those are parentheses. Okay, so now let's look at the example. Describe each of the following as discrete or continuous. So letter A, is it continuous? Yes, because it is a solid line. B is discrete because they're just a bunch of dots. And then C, of course, is continuous. All right, the next part is blank is a relation where each input has exactly one output, that no x's are repeating, and the graph passes the vertical line test. Well, that has to be a function. So the x's cannot repeat. So no repeating x's. Oh, I see. This should be input. My bad. Fix that on your notes. So, are the following functions? Yes or no? And then list the domain in range. So, do the x's repeat? Looks like the 2's do. That domain is always x, range is y. So this is not a function. It wouldn't pass the vertical line test. If you were ever unsure, you could always make a little graph and plot the points, but you would see that they would not pass the vertical line test because the x's repeat. So now let's list the domain. Domain is just all the x values. So you write it in a list with 2, 3, 4, and 6. And usually people write them in order from least to greatest. The range is going to be -3. It's all the y values, -1, 3, and 6. That's it. Okay, for letter B, do any of the x's repeat? Looks like you have a 0, -2, 2, 3, and -3. Doesn't look like they repeat. The y's repeat, but that's okay. It's a function. So let's list the domain. So domain is going to be, let's try to put them in order. So -3, -2, 0, 2, and 3. And let's do the range. Range is all the y values. So it looks like 0, 4, and 9. And that's it. Oh, this one, now we have a graph. So is this C a function? If you don't remember from Algebra 1, this vertical line test I'm talking about is you can draw a line in this vertical lines infinitely many times, and the line will never hit the function more than one time per line. So this is, yes, it's a function. Let's write this one in interval notation since it's continuous. And it's a graph, it's a continuous line. So the domain, well, what's the smallest x value on there? Well, it looks like to me it goes to infinity, -infinity. So the domain is going to be from -infinity to infinity. And the range is also going to be, because it goes up this way forever and down to negative infinity forever. So this is going to be negative infinity to infinity. All right, now let's talk about letter D, the graph of absolute value of x. So is it a function? Does it pass the vertical line test? It's a function. And the domain, the x values, goes from negative infinity to positive infinity because it goes on forever to the left and on forever to the right. The range is a little different, however. So the range is going to be, sorry, my parentheses are struggling today. So the range is going to be, what is the smallest or biggest x value? Or y value, sorry, y value. So it looks like it never goes above this line. So it touches when y equals 0. So y equals 0 and it goes everything above that. So that would be the minimum. 0 is the minimum. Does it touch it? Is there a closed dot? Yes, there is. So we know it's going to be this. It's going to have the line underneath. Is it greater than, all the numbers greater than or less than? That would be greater than. So y is going to be greater than or equal to 0. All right, the next part. When they ask you to evaluate each function for the given value of x, don't worry. That's just a fancy way of saying solve when x equals something. So you just plug it in and solve it. Okay, so the example is evaluate each function for the given value of x and write the input x and output f of x as an ordered pair. So there's 2 steps to this. So first, let's find out what f of 2 is. And that's going to be 12 times 2 minus 4. So that would be 24 minus 4, so it would equal 20. And don't forget the ordered pair part. So the x value is going to be the 2. And then the y coordinate is going to be 20. Let's do another one with a fraction in it. Our favorite, we love fractions. So we have 1/4 times 4 minus 8, and that's f of 4. So 1/4 times 4, that's an easy one, it just turns into 1, they cancel. So 1 minus 8 would be negative 7. So the ordered pair would be 4, negative 7. That's it. Okay, so the last thing for this section is a function rule. Is an equation that represents an output value in terms of an input value. You can write a function rule in function notation. So for the example is write a function rule to model the cost per month of a music subscription plan, then evaluate the function for the given number of songs. So step 1, let's write the function rule. So we have a monthly fee and a price per song. So the monthly fee in this month, is that happening multiple times or just once? It's happening once. And then the price per song, anytime you see the word per, you know that's happening multiple times. So that's the one that's happening multiple. Okay, and we're going to leave that last part alone for now. And so this $5.99 is, since it's happening once, it's going to be the function f of x is going to be something plus $5.99. So that's the monthly fee. It's just added on to however many songs you buy. And the price per song is 0.25x. And that is the function rule. Okay, let's write that just in case we don't forget, so we don't forget. Function rule. And then now they want us to evaluate or solve the function for the given number of songs. So all I'm going to do is plug in 18 for my x. So I'd have 0.25 times 18 plus $5.99. Stick that in your handy dandy calculator and you get $10.49. And that is all for this video. Thanks for watching.